Hello, YouTube. ZiggyNo back with Talking Sports Cards. Today is June 16th. Thank you for stopping by. Looks like we're going to settle into a Monday through Friday daily show, specials on the weekend. Shooting at a noon release date with release time. We'll see. Feedback appreciated. If you haven't already, please subscribe, hit the little bell. Feedback and conversations are encouraged. They all help the algorithm, and I really do appreciate that. Let's go ahead and jump into some great content. We're going to talk indexes today. Before we jump into indexes, let's stop by and talk about tech and cards. This is led by Brad. Jeff or Deafness was on as a guest. Listen to these guys, a fan of the channel, who was one of the first guests on. It's a brand new channel, talking about technology and sports cards and a little bit of faith. Really enjoyed the conversation. Learned something about Jeff I did not know, and something you hear a lot about in the community. Jeff did some fundraising in sports cards where he raised funds for people in the community needed stuff. He'd run these 24-hour auctions where he'd sit online live streaming for 24 hours, and just kind of very community-driven, faith-based, helping people out. Really enjoyed that story. So I do recommend, if you haven't already, listen to the conversation. If you can, subscribe, leave some comments, and tell them Ziggy sent you. Next up, Sports Card Radio, actually 2 days ago, I guess, right? This is the 14th. Did a video and did emphasize some of the cards that are down, I think down 11 to 40%, correction in the market. He talked about things are going to change. Real collectors and investors will stick around, people who know the business. It's interesting. I guess I've been saying all this for 2 years. I really do like their content. It was interesting, not just listening to theirs, I'm not paying attention to theirs, but the ripple effect of what they've been saying and what other content creators are kind of saying now. Kind of a shift, I guess, in the sports card world. We're gonna get in that in a moment. Before we do, let me go by another major, I don't want to say the word influencer, but a pillar in the sports card community for sure, is baseball card collector, investor, dealer, who I watch regularly and seldom talk about as much. He's got a great subscriber base and people know what he is and who he is. I see him on a lot of interview shows. Did a great video. This is looking back at the very first high roller and comparing the value of the card then to what it would be for today in today's market. So in April 2020, what it sold for and what it would sell for today in June 22. And really cool, talking about multiplier. And he's very fair, very honest. I think he had like a Kyler Murray card. He's like, he had no idea where to even put it, because he gets sold for 100. He's like, I don't think it'd sell for that today. And again, very realistic on his comps and where he found his numbers from. So I do recommend that. Check it out. Very nostalgic. I like that. Hope to see more of that. Next video up. This is from Slab Talk, and this is talking indexes. Give me 1 second. So in this conversation with Emil and Rob, who again, as I talk about, kind of come from that coaching tree of the card ladder, right? These are direct descendants of the card ladder, Chris Paul, House of Jordan. Very optimistic views, right? They are still looking at these indexes, talking very positively about the card and the market, and things are going well. And I think last week they talked about buying the dip, deep dive in the sports card market and NBA finals. I don't know why people continue to use these index funds. I don't like them. They support the idea of a market cap. They support the idea of a card has a value and that value is constant in the market. If you go to sell, you're going to get that value, which is such a myth, right? Like this myth here is that, and we'll get this in a moment. Actually, before I do that, let me pull up. To be fair here, I feel like I'm being a little biased. Let me pull up Bench Clear Media. This is Mike and John. I really like both these guys as well. I respect them and like their content a lot more than I do Rob and Emil. And I don't mean that negatively, Rob and Emil. But Rob and Emil have been around for like a weekend, and neither one of them are very responsive as far as feedback and criticism. For Mike and John, I've known them, talked to them, off and on, and they seem to be, I think they'll accept this feedback that I'm going to give them. Also, I'm going to applaud that they do a very good job explaining their index. Rob and Emil could not explain that index that they were begged to, right? Because it's not theirs, it's card ladder. But in this index, right, they talk about the valuation, how they calculated it. And I encourage you to listen to it because, again, I applaud that. They show you a graph of how the index has performed over time, right? And they go into showing you who's in the index and how they got them in there, right? They talk about this being a price-weighted index and what that means and how a valuation, like $1,000 change in a Mickey Mantle isn't as big as a $1,000 change in, say, I don't know, an Andre Dawson, right? That'd be a huge change. This is a $55 card. But my problem with these index funds is, first of all, they create a notion in someone's mind that This is an investment that is going to give you a regular rate of return. That is a myth. Okay. Is it an investment? Investments are vague. Okay. You buy something, yes, you can sell more for later for more, possibly. Here's what they're leaving out of this myth. You're never going to sell the card for whatever that price is. Okay. Never. If the market is, say, if the last comp is $100, you're probably gonna get 90 for it. Maybe get 95, maybe get 98. Even if you've got 100, you still have to pay shipping fees, insurance fees, right? There's a transaction fee involved. So you're never going to liquidate at 100. Now I know stocks and bonds have a transaction fee, but it's a regulated, pretty much small fee, 1 or 2%. It's across the board on everything. It's across the board on every share that you sell. So if I sold 5 shares of stock, I pay the same fee. If you sell 5 cards, 5 of these Andre Dawsons that are $55, you sell 5 of them, you're not going to get $55.06 for each one of them. You're not, right? And this is a problem in these index funds. So they all have variable liquidity numbers. Also, I just want to point out something people don't realize. In the sports card market, in the history of sports card markets, most of the time, a comp is what the last person's highest sales price was. And most transactions are under comp. We're just realizing this in today's market now. That's the case it was before the boom. You wouldn't pay the last price in eBay. You said, hey, the last price was 100. I'm going to comp it at 90. You took off some because you're taking out minimum fees. Somewhere during the boom, it was like, hey, it's $100 for an eBay, so I'm on 110. And people were paying a premium over the last comp. Today, we're seeing where people are saying, hey, I'm not paying comps, I'm paying under comps. And people are shocked by this. Oh my God, he's paying under comps. No, that's the norm. And you're going to see that norm for a long time. So when you see a comp is basically an eBay transaction that some guy got lucky who got a high at, because everybody else underneath that is going to be less. Hopefully that makes sense on the index funds. Okay, the other thing I'll say on the index funds is, again, you're cherry picking. You're picking players that have been successful or are in the Hall of Fame. Pick an index fund of all the rookies that went bust in the last 10 years, or all the players who had, bad after sports incidents. Okay, go look at those indexes. Okay, next video I want to talk about sports card once again. Great video talking about the overpopulation of these ultra modern cards. And another, I'll put this way, I agree with him in the sense that I think 20 years from now, no one's going to give a rat tiny about a lot of these cards. I mean, not at all. Like, have no value at all. Kind of like we see junk from the 80s today and 90s. This example real quickly on the screen, 2 rookie-based Prism cards, 2 prospective rookie players, right? The print run is drastically different on both of these. And that is something that drives me crazy. It bothers me to the point, I think that manufacturers should have to disclose print runs at some point. We will always, and he goes through some numbers and how they can estimate what print run numbers are. But unless we know what they are, we're just always going to assume that even though this card is from, I think, 2014 or 15, it has the same print run as a card from 2017, 18. That's how the market's going to determine it. And that, again, is going to erode any credibility you have in this being an investment or valuation in the future, right? You need to know what the print runs are. I don't know why we trust manufacturers. The new manufacturer, Fanatics, should disclose print runs. Okay, next video up. Good conversation here from Neo with the guys over at CSG on grading. To be honest, it was interesting. At best case, I can't give you a single fact. I'm like, oh, wow, I didn't know that. I guess I didn't know that they said they were going to get the cards before 2020 boom. I mean, when you think about it, they've only been in it for a year. On their metrics, they're excelling, exceeding all expectations, which I think is an interesting perspective, right? For them, they got in a year ago. They have, they said they have 25 graders, and I think Ultra and 25 to maybe 50 graders, but I was shocked by this. I guess I was shocked by where they are, but at the same time, I guess I applaud how they're moving slowly and steady. I'd also say that I do think CSG is a sleeping giant just in what they're doing, where they're coming from. It does seem like, PSA just is really milking the cow. They're not doing anything innovative, not helping anybody out. They're just printing like milk. CSG is still mismanaged the experience. I'm sorry, CSG is still mismanaging the experience. CSG is still mismanaging the experience. Oh no, Ziggy, they're doing great. I'm telling you, man, they need to take a step back. They're so focused on the right now, they can't see bigger. They only see a tree, they can't see a forest. Next video, Run Good Life. I'm gonna applaud his. I like this. He did a breakdown of like a mega box, blaster, and hanger box. Showed us everything he got, which was a bunch of junk. And it's not his fault. Well, it is, right? He's a breaker. He's the one who makes it come out of the packs. No, he doesn't. But it was like this Mills dude. It made me think to myself, there's a lot. A lot. Let me pause this. A lot of prison football retail. A lot. A lot. Fanatics, Walmart, Target, Blaster, Hanger, Sellout, Retail Box, Mega Box. Then you got your hobbies, your hybrids. No worries. Hey, if I get it, I would sell it too. I'd put it that way. I wouldn't sell it at exorbitant prices, but I'd probably rip it and sell the cards that I got. I'd rip it. I would rip it. I wouldn't flip it. I'd rip it because I just want to rip it. I like to rip it. Last up, and I don't mean to be rude, but I have to ask this comment. And I know some people are going to take this the wrong way. I posted a little question on Twitter yesterday. Is this okay? Is like everybody cool with this? And what I mean by that is that the content has gotten so bad on some channels now. They have their wife doing box breaks with them. Ian has been doing this for a long time with his wife, and now I see I forget this dude's name. I forget your names. Oh, I forget his name. Card collector dude has his wife. Now, the only reason I ask this, guys, I know it's me touchy. If I used a Hooters girl, or I got a stripper, or a really hot girl off the street to do this and open a box with me, how much grief would I take? Because everybody flipped out when they did the break and they had some girls in the background from Vegas and they're like, oh, how is this so terrible for the hobby? If you're going to complain about that, why are you not complaining about this? Is it because it's his wife and then it's family oriented? I don't know. I don't get that. I'll just say this. When I see this, it just turns me off. Because I do feel like you're exploiting your wife so that we'll watch your break. Am I wrong? I know I'm going to get some feedback on this one. I know someone's like, oh, Ziggy, you're on this one. But it just, again, I'm not against it. Do it, man, because I think you should be able to use Hooters girls, right? I think, in fact, here's one great idea. Someone please do this. And if you do, tell me how to join. OnlyFans, where you get to open up and be in very expensive box breaks with very beautiful women. Is that okay? Is that wrong? Is that wrong? I know third rail right here. I probably touched something wrong, but I would subscribe to that. Would you leave me a comment below? Would you subscribe? Like we're talking like flawless boxes. If you want to have a flawless box open, oh my God, you want it open by just because it's the experience, right? I mean, hold on, hold on one second. Okay, this is one of the best breaks I've seen in a while. I'm a big fan of Mojo breaks, and I think this is Dan. But just imagine if you will, this wasn't Dan. What if this was Danielle?
Court. Oh my God! One of one. Sealed auto Mac Jones. Boom!
I'm just saying, what do you guys think?